No one in this world can you trust. Not men, not women, not beasts. This you can trust.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Glory of Golden State Gaming. I'm your host, Swamp Swimmer, and with me as always, the Grogu to my Mandalorian, Vespacian.
Take that. Hi, everybody. Good to be back.
It's good. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been approximately a month since we've released a video. I don't know, just life got in the way. We got busy. At least I got busy.
Same.
But we're back. Don't worry.
March was hectic.
It was hectic. Don't worry, guys. We are still a YouTube channel. We are still making videos. So don't worry. We're back. We're back. We might take another break in the future, but we're back for now. And hey, just the other day, I went to a wonderful afternoon matinee presentation. I was like one of 3 people in the theater. I went and saw the D&D movie Honor Amongst Thieves. You, Vespacian, have not seen it, but I'm going to give my spoiler-free review of it. What do you think of that?
That sounds awesome. I really want to see it. It looked fun and campy and whatnot. So yeah, I'd love a spoiler-free review.
Yeah, I definitely. You almost hit the nail on the head of my review. Campy. It's like, I liked the movie. I 100% did not love it. So I liked it, did not love it. And it was, they just went the 100% action comedy route. A lot of jokes, a lot of like rapid fire jokes, rapid fire action scenes. Cool, really great CGI. Like, it looked beautiful. There wasn't a whole lot of emotional depth to it. I'll give you that. But as far as like explaining, it was littered with like on the nose D&D jokes, which was really cool. If their purpose was to really get some more eyes on D&D in the D&D world, I think they succeeded. If their purpose was to make like a really wonderful movie, maybe not, but hell, it was worth watching. If you are thinking about going, I suggest going to see it. But it was like, definitely liked it, didn't love it.
I think there's been so much dark, like kind of grim, fantasy, a la Game of Thrones and everything like that. I do think there's plenty of room for that kind of like more lighthearted fantasy, out in the world. So I'm glad to hear that it hit that, scratched that itch a little bit.
Yeah.
Cast wise, you could kind of see that they were heading that direction, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember. Was it like the Wayans brothers and Jeremy Irons in the last
my god
movie?
There was
I think
there were 2 D&D movies previously. One was really old and really bad, and the most recent one before this one was the Jeremy Irons Wayans brother movie. Both not very good.
How does it calibrate against that one?
Like those old movies were like 1s, 2s, or 3s out of a 10 scale. Like, this is definitely a 7.
Okay, nice.
Oh, it's head and shoulders better than the older movies. Head and shoulders.
Okay. Because the Wayans brother one was like, I think I would have been in like.
We were we were young.
Yeah, pretty young. And it was okay, but not great. Worth one watch, but definitely not a lot of rewatchability, I would say. But anyway, yeah.
Other thing, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there are some pretty fun cameos in the movie that you should look forward to. Some of them caught me by surprise.
Did they get? Because there's a couple of like pretty famous celebrity D&D aficionados, right?
I'll spoil that. Like, before the movie, I thought there was going to be a cameo from the cast of Critical Role, which is like the most popular live play. All the voice actors, they're hugely popular. I thought they were going to cameo as their characters in the D&D movie. I was sure of it. Didn't happen.
Okay.
But anyway.
All right, fair enough. Well, I'll look out for it.
Okay, let's move on to the battle report. It's been a long time coming. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apologize to Proxy Table Gaming. It took us this long to get to our final game in the challenge. The challenge versus Proxy Table Gaming. The final game is Vespacian versus Hyper G. We're currently ahead on points. I don't remember exactly what we are at this point, but you bring your Sylvan Elves again. Since we tied the Saurian Ancient off, Hyper G bringing his Saurian Ancients. Bringing Saurian Ancients again. It's Dawn Assault, hold the center. If I'm correct, I made that judgment based upon the images, but we'll see here.
I think it was King of the Hill, actually.
King of the Hill, Dawn Assault. King of the Hill, Dawn Assault. Yeah. Let's jump into your list. I think this is pretty close to what you brought previously.
Yeah, it's pretty close. This is almost dead on what I brought to NATC, which was like the team tournament that you ran in December. Like I think maybe exactly the same. So. Okay.
Yeah, just the two big trees.
Triple tree. Yeah, triple tree. You know,
Pathfinders.
Yeah.
And then the Briar Maidens instead of the Sentinels, which is an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into his list. I don't even remember what version of the Saurian Ancient book this is coming out of, but we'll just roll with it. He's got the Anarch with the Forbidden Mastery. He's got the Glory of the Dawn Age Veteran. He's got the Skink with the Magical Arrows. A block of Tegu with the two Cayman Masters in it. Cayman Mentors. Another big block of 33. A block of 15 Tegu Guard with the Anarch has to go into there. The Thyroscutus Herd with a Lodestone Shield, one of them. That's the 5 Aegis Bubble. 15 Skink.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. 15 Skink Gorillas with the Magnetic Bows. That's where the character's going. The 4 Stygiasaur pack with the Chorus Stun, so that's his BSB, and a Taurosaur with a Card Wisdom, which is a bound spell. I mean, this is a lot of toughness 4 stuff for your bows to get through. I'm not sure this is like a great matchup for you.
Yeah, it's tough because I really rely on the stomps to get through a block, right? So there's really, like, I really can't deal with the block that has the Thyroscutus or Great Protector in it.
Yeah.
And then the Glory Spear is a little, the Avatar is probably fine, but either of the other trees doesn't really love that matchup because of the multi-wound. So King of the Hill was, I felt like okay because I could probably spread the objectives and try to draw, which was kind of my goal. So I'd probably put this as kind of like a yellow, sort of a pushish, hope that I can draw the objective and maybe go up on points a little, basically.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, hey, we are playing this game in Warhol. Actually, recently I've been playing a couple of games just casually on Warhol on the side. It's awesome. It's really great. It makes playing a game faster, and you can play with anyone around the world. And it's 3D. That's the big thing for me. It's not 2D, it's 3D. Anyway, let's move on to the game here. Let's see here. So King of the Hill, looks like he picked the water feature here and you picked the field in the middle of the board.
I'm pretty sure that, I think it might have actually been the reverse. I think that I picked, because I think I picked the water feature and he picked the field.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. Looks like this is after Vanguard, because you're denied the bottom right corner. He's denied the top left. Then he Vanguards with these models here, with the Skinks here. So I think, I'm just going to jump ahead here. I think you got first turn. Oh, no, he got first turn. He got first turn.
Oh.
Yeah.
He got first.
Is that right? I think that's right. Yeah, he got first turn. So this is deployment. Let's go ahead and give me a brief statement about your deployment.
Yeah, so it looks like he dropped for first. You know, my main goal with this was I had, so left right I had the scoring and then the fast cav hunters, the regular tree father. I think the caster tree in the middle there, the apprentice ancient, my big unit of archers, one of my pathfinders, other pathfinders, little unit of archers, forest guard, the avatar, and then the briar maidens off on the right. And essentially what I was trying to do was I wanted to create as much space. Like I think his goal was to try to get towards that water feature. So I wanted to create as much space to do as much range damage as possible while giving me opportunities to move around the flanks with the tree fathers and the briar maidens, and essentially like create that no-go zone in the middle, to try to keep him off of the water. So that was my thought process there. I think this was back when Druidism had the Strider rule, and I originally put my forest there kind of thinking like that could be a good opportunity to catch him not being steadfast, something like that. But in retrospect, it ended up just kind of like diminishing my shooting a little bit without a ton of impact on him. Yeah. So I might have put that in a different place. Hindsight 2020. But otherwise, I was pretty happy with the way I deployed here, and or counter deployed at least. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And he just he dropped everything, so he just centered, and he doesn't have a whole lot of units in this army.
Right. I think that's why he dropped everything for first. One, to just take one less turn of shooting for me before he engages. Two, because he couldn't win the drop game by like a long shot. So he's got his Styx on the right, the Torosaur, the Tegugar, which he does not have his Slun, and he's thinking of them as kind of just like a resilient sort of secondary scoring unit. He's got everything in that big Tegugar unit with the Great Protector, the Dawn Age guy, and the Slun all over there. And I can't, like, that's like 2,000 points I just basically can't touch. So, I mean, effective, counter approach from him. And then he's got the middle Tegu unit there, so.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's see here. So it's flipped. I think these pictures are actually from Hyper-G, which is interesting. So we're viewing it from his perspective, but this is his movement. He basically pushes up that Death Star block right towards the scoring. And everything else kind of doesn't move up, but not very far. Or moves up, but not very far.
Yeah, I don't know. I was a little puzzled why he was so tentative on the left with the Stygiosaurs. I think like with the poison, and he marked my avatar. I don't think I love that one-on-one matchup. So I was a little surprised that he didn't like push them up and put the Torosaur in for a flank, like threatening a counter flank charge, right? Something like that. Plus he's got a champ, so he's gonna be, I don't know. I felt like that was I felt like he could have pressed me harder on the left, but he absolutely recognized the disadvantage I had on the right, which was, so he just shoved that block forward. Yeah.
All right, this is your turn. Bottom of one.
Yeah. So you can see I'm recognizing the difference. Oh yeah. So in his turn, he puts a couple wounds out on that tree father. And I start swinging that out to the right. I was hopeful that with all the shooting I had over there, that I could start working on the, or I guess my left, his right. I could start working on those skinks, because they actually did a decent number, and I re-looked at the math and didn't realize how good they were against that tree father. Yeah. And so I was thinking, I'd sort of try to prioritize them with my first turn shooting, and I like the tree father out around that impassable. I think it makes it, having a tree father in your flank when you're kind of pinned against the impassable makes it hard to reform, stuff like that. So I liked my positioning there. And then I pull back centrally with the other two Tree Fathers, basically adjust my shooting, and I think what I'm trying to do between the Briar Maidens and the and my Pathfinders over there on the left is to start to work on those Stygiosaurs. You know, I'm recognizing that if that fight happens in the middle of the field, I might be able to take advantage of the short ranges on the Druidism. Maybe if I can deplete them, the Avatar could finish the job. So that was my thinking there.
Gotcha.
I will note, I think Hyper G highlighted it, but he had his magic phase was awful for me, right? With the Master of Earth essentially having like full range on my back line because of the terrain positioning and Pyro Flow. And I think he just I think he did like 1 wound with his magic to like 1 unit. So I caught a break there. That could have been a very scary first turn for my shooting, but it didn't end up working out that way.
Definitely. Let's see here. This is turn 2. Yeah, okay. So this is him moving up. He doesn't really push on you.
Yeah, I think he maybe was like underestimating the Strider attribute for Druidism, because I moved that forest up basically to like get out of my way.
Yeah.
And make it harder, like make it so that he had to advance through it. But I think he was kind of underestimated. He does push up a little bit more in the middle, but again, like I outrange him pretty significantly, so I was happy to see these kind of tentative moves. You can see that I really underperform from a shooting perspective.
Yeah, I don't see any wounds on the Stygiosaurs.
Yeah, I just rolled like absolute garbage against the Stygiosaurs. I think I even put an Ice and Fire into them actually, and I still just like rolled real bad. And then even more disappointing was on the right. I had a Tree Father, right, that ignores, that ignores cover and all that. I had a Pathfinder unit, an Archer unit, a Heath Hunter unit. I put like probably in some total like 30, 40 high quality shots in that unit. I think I killed like 3. It was, Oof. I was expecting to like have the unit, and it just totally underperformed. And now I'm starting to get really nervous about that Tree Father. I think I did heal a wound on him.
Yeah, he's down to 1 now, yeah.
But I'm starting to get really nervous because I was expecting to really deplete that skink unit so that he could be more mobile on that side. But yeah, I was disappointed there.
All right, so then on your turn, looks like you didn't take any wounds, but man, this is a skip ahead. This is turn 3.
This is his turn 3.
Yeah.
So you can get a look at what I do here, but essentially, I find a nice little sweet spot with the Avatar and the Tree Father. If you go back one slide, I can show you. So essentially, with the way that he's turned his block that's towed into the forest there,
mm-hmm.
And the way that he had his Stygiosaurs angled, I could move that Avatar up and make it such that the Avatar could basically, he could only hit the Avatar with 1 Stitch, and his other block couldn't get in, and neither could the Torosaur. So I kind of like this, rather than like continuously backing up. If I can pin those 2 units up in the front, and then give my shooting the opportunity to kind of work around the edges and just deal with 1 block at a time, mm-hmm. I actually kind of like that. And it also created, I think, some opportunities for counter charges, and I do think I can work through that Saurian unit that doesn't have the Thyro in it, because the stomps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So you put him up there. He takes the double charge in. Mm-hmm. Again, your shooting doesn't look like it does a whole bunch.
No, I think I did like a wound or 2 to the Stygiosaurs. You can see. I think I did. tried again to do a little bit of damage to those skinks and just failed. I think I might have put some shots into that the Cayman Tegu unit. I think it looks like I maybe got rid of a few in the back there just to prepare for the combat, essentially. So he takes him in, and he positions the Taurosaur for a counter charge. He highlighted this in his video, and I did make one mistake here. I put that Tree Father on my left, his right, so that I could still see the skinks for the Strangle Roots attack. But I thought, and just eyeballing it, like even looking at it now, it looks like there's enough room, but I was off like a millimeter to be able to complete a charge past that impassable.
Yeah,
that was dumb. I should have just checked it. Like even as I look at it now, it looks like it's fine. But what I was thinking there was I'd be more than happy to use the Tree Father to go into the back of that big Tegu unit, to pin it for a turn, right? Especially since it looks like my Tree Father is going to die from bloody skink shooting anyway. So that was my thinking. Otherwise, I just play pretty conservative with my shooters in the back. And he comes in, and I think, I don't know what our next picture is.
Let's see here. This is, the turns are
This
reversed.
is actually the out of order picture. So now you can see where I put my avatar and why I like that positioning there.
Gotcha. And then it looks like this is turn 4.
So maybe take us back to
this is the correct photo.
There you go. We've got it. It's all flippy-floppy. So basically, he comes in and I think makes a pretty pivotal mistake here.
So first off, when the Stygiusaurus in this big block comes in, you end up just sticking, or did you win combat with the avatar?
That's what I'm getting at. So basically, I actually think I win that combat because I kill a Styg and stomp a boatload of Tegu. And you can see he does 3 total wounds to me.
Yeah.
Right. And this is where I think spell prioritization was a huge deal. I think I used my binding scroll here and stopped flaming swords. And the one that I was really scared about was Awaken the Beast Strength on the Tegu. But what he actually, I think he was kind of still prioritizing the missiles. So you can see I lost a few Pathfinders in the back there, right? I think he also maybe shot something at the Tree Father or something he did like a touch of the Reaper at the Tree Father or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think in that phase, it's all about that combat, because if he can get the Avatar dead or down to like 1 or 2 wounds left, I don't think he survives long term. But he kind of spread his magic out, and that meant that with a little bit of dice going my way, the Avatar survived and did quite a bit of damage, and then allowed this counter charge, which let me bring the Briar Maidens into the flank, right?
Yeah.
And the Ancient into the Tegu with kind of minimal contact. And that's once you start double thunder stomping on a Res 4 unit,
you start getting
pretty nasty.
You start getting some throughput. Yeah. So then that leads to his turn where the Stygiusaurs are gone. They broke, obviously, and you ran them down with the Briar Maidens, I think?
No, so I broke them, but because he was no longer steadfast. But he fled, and I didn't catch him. You can see the last guy over there. Yeah. So that was pretty disappointing because he had DTs from the Avatar, DTs from the Tree Father, DTs from the things there, and then he was rallying on minimized leadership without the bubble and no reroll, and he still rallied. So our friend got pretty lucky there, and it creates some tense moments later in the battle. but our friend got pretty lucky there. And then he countercharged the Taurosaur. I did put basically all of my shooting into that Taurosaur. You can see.
Oh, got it down to 1 wound.
Previous turn. And then he also takes a wound going into the forest.
Oh no!
And I'm like, if that Tree Father Ancient survives, I'm gonna crush attack that guy and try to kill him. And now you can see this sort of unfortunate result with my Tree Father. This would have been, I wouldn't have needed to use Chaff. I could have, had that Tree Father ready to charge the rear, either the block or the Taurosaur, if I had just been tweaked on the angle just a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was a miss. It could have helped me here, but yeah.
All right.
Break the Spirit was a big one as well. He stopped all my heals on the Avatar. But with Break the Spirit, he actually doesn't hit that guy very well. So that helped a lot. And he didn't actually take any wounds, as you can see.
Interesting. Let's jump to the next shot. Oh God. Okay. I don't know. This is turn 5. Okay.
Yeah.
You end up sticking.
So he does a decent amount of damage with the Taurosaur. He prioritizes healing the Taurosaur, which another one. I think again, a Flaming Swords on the Tegu unit
would have been
much
better.
Yeah. I don't actually even think he cast it, or he did it, but I prioritized spelling it. But a Flaming Swords to give you +1 to wound and then re-roll the wound with the Tegu unit would have been absolutely huge. And the Caimans, and he focused on healing the Taurosaur, which was sort of funny because I actually hit with the crush attack. I survived the impact, hit with the crush attack, and then rolled a 1 to wound.
No.
I would have. We were laughing so hard at that one because I was like, this guy's just gonna knock that Taurosaur off the board, but didn't happen. I have to deploy my second chaffing cavalry unit there on the Tegu block, but I am able to get the other Tree Father in. So now we're talking 3 Thunder Stomps into that unit. Pretty nasty, and now I've started actually turning my focus. I can't do anything to that Great Protector unit. Like, I've been shooting at it, but it's just
there's nothing you can do. Yeah,
there's nothing I can do. So I start going up Tegu Guard, right? Because I see them as starting to be a little bit more of a threat. And I do start edging, thinking about the late game. I start edging my Forest Guard unit towards the field, right? Because that's the one I have to get into, and based on where he is and the fact that Stygiusaur survived, I felt like he was going to get into the water feature, and there wasn't a lot I could do about it.
Yeah, true.
So I'm starting to kind of figuring out where I'm going to be at the end of the game, but I'm feeling really good about that Tegu combat because I basically got like 2,500 points of combat into that unit. It's been sitting around for a long time, but it's holding up.
Jeez. Okay, and then let's see here. This is turn 5, your turn, and there's a lot of things missing on the board.
Okay, so we've definitely skipped a pretty substantive amount of stuff here. Do we have any of the intervening pictures?
These are the only ones I got.
Oh, okay, maybe take us back really quickly, and I can give you the summary. So basically, in this turn, I win.
Please tell me you break this unit.
I do. In this turn, I break this unit. All 3 of my trees have survived. I fail with multiple pursuits. I think the regular Tree Father, and the Briar Maidens both pursue. Both fail to catch the unit, but there's like 1 guy left by the time he gets through all the DTs and everything like that.
Yeah.
Taurosaur also flees, but dies because just basically you can kind of see from his angle, he essentially goes off the board. Because he bounces all the way through, fails, passes both of those leadership checks, including the decimated one on the Stygiusaur again. with no bubble. And then what I do is I turn my Tree Fathers, and I realize that I've got a little bit of a problem here because his Dawn Age vet, I didn't quite have the movement with that cab unit to cover the Dawn Age vet. And so I basically sacrificed my Tree Father Ancient apprentice to the Dawn Age vet, essentially like chapping him. And then I go into what turns out to be like a truly terrible turn for me. So in the following turn, he comes over with his skinks and kills the Tree Father, the non-character Tree Father.
Yeah.
His Dawn Age vet charges in, and admittedly he should, but he kills the Tree Father Ancient, no problem. And his Tegu Guard charged my Briar Maidens who are still in their line of sight, who have to flee and go over his big Tegu unit and stop on the other side, kind of near the lake. So that, I think that can, but I do get ultimately with the Strangle Roots from the Avatar, I think I get that last Tegu from that unit that held up half my army for the whole game. And then we end up, I think, on the next picture. Yeah. So you can see my other two trees are gone. That's the last Tegu guy right there who rallies on the minimized leadership, and I kill him with the Avatar. He started to regrow his Stygiosaurs on the right-hand side and start threatening the objective. I use, I think, a somewhat clever move with my Briar Maidens to block him from extending essentially towards the objective. When they rally, and I'm continuing to focus on those Tegu Guard because they're basically the only thing that can stop my Forest Guard from getting into his objective.
Well,
field,
and the character sitting here, right?
Yeah. So the characters is in a tough spot though because I've got two scoring units over there, and he's just a single model, right? So he can't really stop both. He can basically just stop one, right? So essentially, he's got to make a choice. As long as that Tegu Guard unit isn't there, I should be able to get one or the other of my units in, right? So he has to make a choice. And then I think in the next picture you can see what happens, what he decides to do. Yeah. So I'm able to finish off that Tegu Guard unit. One guy runs away, panics and runs away. I work on the Stygiosaurs because I really need, if I'm gonna try to win the objective, I certainly can't have them there. But he does do a sort of a shifty move and gets his big unit over onto the water, and I would have to kill like 24, not 24, a dozen Tegu to get him off of it, which is not really realistic.
It's not gonna happen.
He blocks my archers with his vet. And I think at this point he actually thought that he had gotten me and stopped me from getting the objective, but then you can see what I do in the following picture probably.
Boink. Yeah.
So I was within 10 inches. I wasn't facing towards the field, but I was within 10 inches of it. So I reform into a line and move, and to make sure that so basically I do that. I turn essentially all of my shooting towards the Stygiosaur, feeling pretty confident that 17 Pathfinders and 10 archers should be able to finish him off. And then I do this move, and this one was an interesting one. So I do this move. The Avatar and the Briar Maidens, who still have their champion, pincher that unit, right?
Yeah.
Because he didn't get a Druidism spell off in the prior turn.
Oh, so they're not steadfast.
They're not steadfast, right? And I'm like, you know what? I just need to win that combat. He's wide, so he has no rank bonus, right? Ooh. So he's basically got a banner, right? And any wounds he does to me, but I've got charge, flank, and any wounds I do to him, right? So I was actually like, oh, this could be a 20, right?
Yeah.
So I'm actually feeling pretty good about how this went. And then, so I'll tell you, I'm not sure if we have one more picture, do we?
Yeah, okay.
So I finish off the Stygiasaur, right? I finish off the Tegu Guard, right? And I win that combat. And then if you look at that next picture, you can get, so this one, honestly, it came down to
one discipline roll.
No. So it was like a I think it might have been an auto. Like he was down by 6 or something like that. Maybe a double one. But it was so close. Like we ended up having to pick the models up and like look at it, because the way that it works with Steadfast, it's about how many model centers are in the forest and the proportion of the unit. And it was literally, I'm not kidding you, if I had failed to kill one Tegu, he would have been in the forest.
Oh no!
And it was right on the bubble, like literally like a hair's breadth. At the end of the day,
I don't
know. I mean, in a tournament, I probably would have called it TO over.
Yeah.
But it's a friendly game. It was right on the bubble. But if I had killed one less, it would have been clear. He would have been in the forest. So it was certainly an interesting one. But at the end of the day, we ruled it as he was not in the forest, and he passed the break check. So
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a crazy ending. Oh my goodness, that's an exciting game. But it ends up being, so you tie secondary.
Yep.
And ends up being 12 to you, which is not too bad.
Yeah. I was able to clean up a lot of points. It was pretty touch and go there. He got a lot of points off of me, 2 of my tree fathers, all of my kind of chaffy small units. But he had a lot of a lot of points in the second Tegu brick, the Taurosaur, the Stygiasaurs, all that. So I was able to clean up a lot of points.
So looking back at deployment, are you happy with your deployment after realizing what happened for the game? Because he dropped for first, and he dropped kind of in the center.
Yeah, I think so. I think the move to try to kind of envelop with the Tree Fathers and the Briar Maidens, while sort of focus firing with the shooting. My shooting did not, you could see, did not do a lot in this game.
Yeah.
It helped clean up some points at the end, but like in terms of the real volume of damage, it basically all came from combat, from the trees essentially. So this was an interesting one. It's with Druidism and basically everything Res 4 and the 5-up ward and everything like that. Like it was gonna be a tough slog to really put through damage on this army from range. So I don't think this was a great matchup, but I think I kind of played the cards that I was dealt essentially.
Fair enough. So I did some quick math on this piece of paper next to me right here. After our total of 4 games against Proxy Table Gaming, we have a total of 53 points to their 27. I think we're kicking around the idea of doing a doubles game. I'm not sure the answer to if we're going to do that or not. I'd love to hear from any of you watching this video. If you guys are dying to see that video, we can talk to Proxy Table Gaming. But I think at this point, we can consider this a Glory of Golden State victory. And I think I can safely say of the American 2-person YouTube 9th Age channel players are of higher quality than the British 2-person 9th Age YouTube bat reppers quality. I think that's safe to say. Am I wrong?
With this sample set, I think we can say that, yes, and we can say that your honor, right, from that whoever that rube was in London that insulted you on the street, your honor has been avenged,
And this might be a long shot, but I'm gonna formally lay down the gauntlet. We are formally welcoming any challengers of other 2-person 9th Age YouTube channel creators who want to challenge the United States from any other country. Bring it on. We have confidence. We're good.
There's Urk and Orc, right? There's the Spaniards.
They are.
I think that's the only other one that jumps off my top of my head, but I think, yeah.
So I'm feeling a lot of pride, a lot of American patriotism going on right now. But anyway,
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Vespacian, as always, thank you for joining me. And next games, we'll be going through Vespacian's Masters games, which will always be fun. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.